Today I'm reacting to Kevin Hart's updated watch collection. So I already reacted to Kevin Hart.
Yeah, but that was like a year ago.
So basically what this means, we ran out of celebrities, so now we circle back to the old celebrities.
I see him with a new watch like every week, so there's enough to talk about.
Yeah, you need to catch up with things like that. So who's next? Mark Wahlberg? And the funny bit as well, I've seen Kevin Hart in Belfast. So Kevin Hart was shooting a movie in Belfast and he was here for like 2-3 months. Was good crack. He never really took the time and effort to meet me though. But before we get into the video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel now, as we have nearly 1 million subscribers. That is some God tier army we created here. And if you want to buy or sell your watch, go like everyone else to prideandpinion.com now. But watch the video first, so not now. And also we're gonna do some stuff on the second channel called Nico Reacts. Not sure what we're gonna do. Johnny knows. Johnny, what I'm gonna do?
Probably react.
Makes sense.
To non-watch related stuff.
Non-watch related stuff. Can we do Pornhub? No? I am Pornhub expert.
So here's how it works. I'm going to ask you a question. You can either choose to answer it or sample one of the foods in front of us. Okay, you ready?
Oh, God.
Kevin.
That's my brother.
James?
That's James.
James Vanderhorst?
James Vanderhorst. That's James Vanderhorst. The amount of people comment on every video. You look like James Corden. You're the James Corden of watches. What's going on there? Let me tell you one thing. There's absolutely nothing going on there.
How much did you get paid for Jumanji: The Next Level?
If I had to do a rough guess, see, I'm a back-end player, so it's not about what you take up front. I don't want upfront money for the movie, so I took less money in hopes that the movie would find amazing success because I'm a good partner.
Because I think you made $800 million.
I don't know.
$800 million. No surprise, buys a watch every day.
I don't know, probably like, right? Between 25 to 30, I would say.
$1 million.
Yeah, 25 to 30.
Between 25 and 30 million. Fair play, mate. This is actually a true story. One of his people reached out to me, as Kevin always buys a watch with every movie he makes. But he was inquiring about 5711 Rose, some really massive hype pieces. And my advice was not to buy them grey market. Reason for this is, I saw that the market was going down. I didn't want to have that responsibility on my back, that he would lose 50 to 100 grand on a watch. I didn't want that responsibility. So I said not to go ahead. So I up the sale myself. I was just honest. He could have bought a watch from us.
On the left you see the 5711, the
Listen.
rose gold
Listen.
5711. Incredible watch in every way possible, but I actually think we could get Kevin to get that at retail and stay instead of paying over the odds.
Did you get that? So his people came to me and I said, I don't think it's the right idea to buy it from us. I really f***ed that. Didn't I? But the watch he's wearing there, like, that's kind of the bollocks, like. That's an ultra-thin Royal Oak Tourbillon, and the ultra-thin was first introduced in 2012. Now, not this model was first introduced in 2012, but the ultra-thin was introduced in 2012, and that was to celebrate the 40th anniversary of the Audemars Piguet Royal Oak. The specific model that Kevin is wearing here is reference number 26513BA. Solid yellow gold, ultra-thin tourbillon, a watch that is actually extremely rare and currently carries a value between $500,000 and $550,000. So can you put that on, please, for f***'s sake? So this is just gonna be, again, money flown everywhere. The whole money counter will be breaking.
You know, you're in the movie Me Time. I think your co-star has arrived.
I have arrived.
There
You started without me.
What's going on, man?
I text you.
Yeah, I know.
I said wait for me.
You always say you're late.
I said wait for me.
Oh, sorry. We're waiting.
Yeah, we got to it.
What's up, champ?
How you doing?
Good to see you,
Good to
man.
see you, man. I remember.
By the way, he is shorter than me. Can I have that claim to fame? Kevin is shorter than me.
But Kevin, what were some of the tactics that you employed when you were selling sneakers, selling shoes?
I can already tell you I was probably a lot better than Mark.
Really?
Yeah, more personable.
Okay.
You know, I'm more of a people person.
But he's funny as right? He's funny as Listen, I don't give a shit about these sneakers, right? But what he's wearing here is actually really insane. If this is the watch I think it is, it's the absolute daddy of the daddies.
That's why he's the GOAT! The GOAT!
You have the daddy, and then you have the upper daddy.
Granddaddy?
The granddaddy daddy. It's the god tier daddy, right? That watch is the daddy of the daddy. I'm 99% sure this is the Audemars Piguet Jules reference number 26356PT, a full platinum jump hour minute repeater. Have you ever heard of a minute repeater?
I have.
What is a minute repeater?
I have no idea what it does.
Right. Do you want me to give you some history lessons or what?
Yeah.
It's daddy. I get stroke because of this watch. It's
Get stroked by daddy.
no, I get stroked by daddy. No. But this watch is genuinely insane, right? It's maybe not the best looking watch in the world. I acknowledge that, but I look at this from an engineering point of view. What you literally see here is the most complicated movement ever in the world created. A minute repeater gives you the time on demand using noise. You have a granddad or a grandparents. Have you ever had them? No?
Grandparents?
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right. Have you ever been in their house and they had a clock that made noise every hour?
Yeah.
It's similar to this, but then in a really, really small watch. A minute repeater chimes the time. Using a lever on the left side of the watch, you start the mechanics of the minute repeater. You know who invented the minute repeater? In the pocket watch, like. It's of course a British which we spoke about in the Queen's video called Thomas Much. The minute repeater and pocket watches really started around 1750. The reason the minute repeater existed is that there wasn't light switches, right? You could switch on the switch and you could see what time it is, right? That wasn't possible. Timekeeping devices were able to chime. These were really expensive timekeeping devices. So only the richest people in the world had minute repeaters, right? Or had pocket watches in general. So for them to see the time at night, they pulled the lever and it chimed the time. That is the reason why the minute repeater existed. The minute repeater was actually inspired by a clock called Neuchâtel. These were clocks that were attached to a bed and it had a cord. And if you wanted to hear the time, you pull the cord and then it chimed the time. You see that 10, right? The 10 is the R. This watch only has two hands. 1 second hand, which is the bottom. This is what we call small seconds. And 1 minute hand. We call that jump hour minute repeater small seconds. Reference number 26356. PT. This watch at the time retailed in and about the $450,000, but today's value sits between $300,000 and $320,000. No dog shite. You can put that on there. Wow, didn't expect that. I never seen him with a vintage watch. I normally always see Kevin Hart with new watches. Like, this is a watch that money can't buy. Yeah, it's not like he bought it with balloons, but I mean, he bought it with money, but it's not a watch that is in production anymore. What you see here is a rare example of a Rolex Daytona, a vintage Rolex Daytona. You know that Paul Newman had exactly the same version of this, and Paul Newman as well had the version before this, reference number 6239, which was sold for $17.8 million. That watch is special. It's really difficult to value vintage watches like these because a lot of factors come into play to determine the exact value of this watch. Is this the original Valjoux 722 movement, or has the dial been replaced, or the hands replaced? A lot of these things come into play. But if this was the perfect 6263, this watch would be worth between $250,000 and $400,000. I never seen him wearing these watches. Now, I know he buys a watch every day, but what you see here is another 6263, which you can recognize with a big light bezel, by the way. So every 6263 has a big light bezel. The predecessor, the 6239, has a steel bezel, and the 6265 also had a steel bezel, which is the model after this. I believe that the Jubilee bracelet on this watch was only sold in America. Even hard to believe that this watch was probably the least popular watch Rolex ever produced. Rolex was so confused when they introduced this watch. First it was called the Cosmograph, then it was called the Le Mans. Le Mans, I'm not even joking. And then they called it Daytona after they lost the battle with Omega for the first watch to space. The watch was first introduced in 1963, but the first documentation of the Daytona started showing in 1965. Years after the introduction of the Daytona, they still weren't convinced. Rolex only started making their own chronographs in-house from the year, say, 2000. Like, I mean, they were never convinced about the Daytona. It's funny looking backwards because if you look at today, these are one of the rarest watches this world has ever seen. But not just rare, extremely sought after as well. You can buy a really good version of this watch from about $200,000 upwards to even $500,000, depending on all the other factors like full set, bezel, all the other things.
So what are we adding to the counter?
I would say $250,000. There you go. By the way, you guys have been asking now a million times. Whenever we sell out with Gautier, I get a million DMs. Can I buy more? Can I buy some? Because they just sold out. Guys, I really appreciate that support. And specifically for you, I have done one more drop, and that's gonna be the last one ever. These are finally back in stock. Last time now. Whenever this one is sold out, it's sold out. You guys are god tier. What a god tier army. Right, get it now. Whoa, whoa. Yeah, I didn't expect anything else, did I? Probably the most ugly Aquanaut Patek Philippe has ever produced. What you see here is the white gold Patek Philippe Aquanaut reference number 5650G. This is by far the most complicated Aquanaut Patek has ever produced, however. This belongs in a special category or a special division of Patek Philippe called the Advanced Research. The Advanced Research is a research campaign separate from Patek Philippe, who does research in perfecting the craft of watchmaking. The division Advanced Research started in 2005, and only 6 watches since 2005 have been developed, with the latest one last year a minute repeater, funny enough. This watch, however, was introduced in 2017, and it had some innovative parts in the movement. Silicone escapements, silicone balance wheels, stuff like that. This money that Patek Philippe puts in all that research is gonna be potentially groundbreaking for the future of watchmaking. And you wanna hear the funny bit is? This happens all in one of the watch capitals of Switzerland, called
Geneva?
Neuchâtel. And Neuchâtel is also...
Where the minute repeater was from.
No, that was invented
Where the
in...
clock was from.
Yes, because the minute repeater was invented by a British c***. This watch was first introduced in 2017 and was limited to 500 pieces only. So you had to be a special c*** for you to get that watch. So today's value sits quite high, you can imagine, because it's special, right? The value sits between $700,000 and $800,000. Put that on the counter. I will just only talk about money. Patek Philippe Grand Complication 5271P, lovely watch, has diamonds around it, all factory, black dial, perpetual calendar, unbelievable watch, worth between $300,000 and $350,000. There you go. Put it on the counter. Next, that's kind of daddy shit. Like, this is what Kevin is, right? Every day he buys another watch. He must have over like 300 watches. No one has seen this watch yet, but he already has it. 16202 PT, the really rare 50th anniversary jumbo of the Marpiquet Royal Oak. And this is not the normal jumbo. No, this is the anniversary jumbo. This is the daddy jumbo. I'm not allowed to talk any further about movements in history, so just put $500,000 on there, please. Listen, to be honest, I can't really see what this watch is. Like, it's a Richard Mille. It's an RM11, 100%. But which RM11, I don't know. I see a photo next to it with an RM1101, the Roberto Mancini, which is what I think one of the coolest Richard Milles ever produced, because one of my other things I love so much, football. This watch actually has a chronograph that times a football match. 45 minutes, and then it goes into extra time. Really cool chronograph. One of the coolest Richard Milles ever produced. Today's value sits between $300,000 and $350,000. Yeah. Manual wound AP Royal Oak Flying Tourbillon. Why not? Watch was first introduced in 2018 in 3 variations. One in steel, this one in rose gold, not this one, and one in platinum, not this one either, but the one in platinum had a gem set bezel. Unbelievable watch. This is reference number 26522 ST, that's worth between $400,000 and $420,000. Just whatever he wears, he just has a different color dial for AP. Like, do you think this would be the same watch or not?
I know it looks the same, but I'm assuming it's not.
Do you know the difference between the two?
I do.
Talk to me.
This one's made in titanium.
Yes, but there's another big difference. What you see here is the limited edition 26534 Ti, the fully automatic AP Royal Oak Tourbillon. So this one is automatic. It's a more complicated movement. The automatic module makes this watch way more expensive, and the fact there's only 50 of these ever produced. Would I pay $300,000 more? No, but it's quite cool to have. There's none in the world for sale at the moment, but the last one I've seen being sold between $650,000 and $700,000. Yeah, that's horrible, isn't it? You know how tiny Kevin Hart is? You know how big that watch is? That's a pancake, mate. That's 45 millimeters, mate. I'm just giving props where props are due, right? Because this watch is quite special. You see that the glass overlaps the bezel? You know that's the first time AP has ever done that? And that allows them to bring light underneath the movement, which makes the movement like it's floating. It's insane. This watch was produced in 2 variations, one in steel and one in rose gold. Unbelievably ugly. But I'm just looking from a design point of view, how complicated this must have been. Reference number 26421 ST, worth between $450,000 and $500,000. Oh yeah, and by the way, they made that watch to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Royal Oak offshore. Yeah, I have nothing to say. It just looks horrible, and it looks specifically horrible on his wrist because he shouldn't be wearing offshores. He shouldn't be wearing 44 and 45 millimeter watch. This watch is 44 mil, by the way. He shouldn't be wearing that shit. The funny bit is the movement of this watch is the identical movement of the previous watch. I just want to skip this watch. Can I skip this? I can put the value on $250,000. I don't know why someone would ever spend that money on that watch. Kevin Hart, mate, I am very, very grateful that I've been able to see you live performing in Belfast. I hope that we can have a conversation about watches sometimes. And please don't forget to go to thegodtier.com now. Put the link somewhere, Johnny. This is the last redrop, restock, whatever the f it is. Done.